You have any revelations like that on things that you look back on and now in your maturity and wisdom, you say, you know what, that wasn't quite right.
Um, all of it is broke programming for sure, but um, this is the reason why I created the remnant, right? Um, if it's something that you dislike or you disapprove of, I don't complain about it. I create what I want, right?
Mm.
So I say I don't like this out there. I'm not about to complain about it. If you don't like it, create what you want. So I create what I want, and so I did a class a long time ago that's very popular, and it talks about value, right? I think that I talked about value back 20 years ago. I have a video on here almost 20 years ago when I talked about the value.
On YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, because everything breaks down to value, right? So if you, like in sales, they got something called the takeaway close. You know, if somebody comes in there and they want to buy a car and they said, yeah, there's a red one and a white one, but you can't have the blue one. Well, where the focus is going to go on the blue one. You know what I'm saying? It's a takeaway close, right? And so the remnant is the takeaway close. The remnant is the building of value because everything breaks down to value in life, right? So if you take something away, especially for our community, and I tell our community, I'm not here for you. The value is not with you, right? As a matter of fact, I'm not going to be on the street corner. I'm not going to be convincing you. I'm not going to be trying to preach to you, right? Because you're not important, right? So the remnant is to pull away and say, this idea is important. These expectations are important, right? This accountability is important. And it's so important that we don't want you to be a part of it. And so it's like, it makes people feel almost insulted because Christianity has made people feel so important, right? Oh, I'm so important. You're so needed. I'm so, you know what I'm saying? And that devalues something that's important. If everybody has access to it, it devalues it, right? I remember I
Right.
was talking to a dude that a lot of people know, and I just talk about it, Jay Morrison, one time, and I was trying to give him some counsel on something that is he lost this little thing that he had called the Black House, and I was
Yeah.
like telling him, listen, you need to create a space that is not for everybody, because I understand how you're thinking about community, right? But you can't attract our people like that. You can attract
Mm.
nobody like that. But unless you designate a place that's for exclusive people, you can't
Marketing
build,
genius, folks. Take your notes. Keep
no,
going. Keep
you
going.
can't build value. And I
Hmm.
said, Jay, I know you got the Black House, but you need to create a space that is exclusive that just anybody can't go to. And everybody will try to get in there. But you just created a space that everybody can go and it's not valuable. It doesn't look
When you say
valuable.
everybody, you're saying every Black person?
Yeah, I'm just saying that
Okay.
you can just go there just because it's available for you, right?
So you're saying it would be a subsection of Black folks, is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
a
Okay.
subsection that's necessary that
Mm.
you can't go here, right? And you need to make that be known, right? Because now coming through these doors require a certain expectation, and that builds value. Everything is
Mm.
value. Let me give you this one thing here. When I was doing police accountability, and and I was dealing with Seattle Foundation, which is the largest funders in the state, behind the Bill and Belinda Gates Foundation. They billions of dollars of funding, right? So whenever I went to funders to help with police accountability, I didn't go asking. I was doing my work myself. And when I went to funders, I didn't ask for help. I gave an opportunity. Now listen, you guys out there. I didn't say, will you help me? I said, this is what we're doing already. This is what the finished product looks like. We're already working towards what we're doing already. Here's an opportunity for you to be a part of what we're doing. So I was playing from a position of strength and not a position of need. When you're playing from a position of need, nobody wants to help. You have
Right.
to play for a position of strength where you're saying this is an opportunity for you. So here I am going to Nick Handauer, the billionaire, Seattle Foundation, and all these funders saying, this is an opportunity that I'm giving you. You don't have to have the opportunity because somebody else will, like the Seahawks or whatever, football, right? So whenever I presented something, I never went asking. I went offering an opportunity. And you can offer an opportunity if you're already doing the work and you're already going in a direction that people could see. This is what he's doing already. Here's an opportunity for you to get involved, right? So now you don't look like the small person. Now you don't look like the needy person. So I'm seeing, as we were talking earlier about educating girls and educate, but it's still a value thing to me. I see everything with value. How do we build value? How do we make people want something? Because they gotta want it. It's got to burn like they want the fast life, like they want to be a billionaire, like they want to be a star, like they want, and they run to it with all their might. We have to create something opposing to make it desirable. And the only way I know within our community is you got to pull it on back. This ain't for you. You got to pull it on back. Pull it on back. This ain't for you. Right? And it makes them feel like, well, what do I got to do for it to be for me? Okay, now we can start working with you because now you're teachable. But as long as you think what Christianity has taught you that you're so valuable, I can't pull greatness out of you. I can't pull the greatness out of you because Christianity has made you believe that you're so wonderful and they'll do anything to get you to be a part and all. No, we ain't gonna do everything to get you a part. These principles are valuable. This integrity is valuable, right? How you treat your community, how you think about men and women, how you think about that's valuable over here. And if you don't have that, we don't want you. So we got to start pulling away. You got to establish that, especially in the Black community here in America. There has to be a cut-off line in which we start making a line, so to speak, in the sand to build value, to build high expectation. As long as everybody's included, it'll never be built. So we got to start. We got to start the exclusion process. We got to start excluding. I've heard you speak on it before.
Absolutely.
I've heard you speak on this before. So I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it sounds harsh, but that's the reality. Right?
Can you clip that 8 minutes, at least 8 minutes? I think it starts at about 20 minutes in, and make a 8-minute video of that. Like how to make yourself or organization attractive, the power of exclusion. I think that's some great game. And really, folks might not realize that that's business right there. That's business, that's marketing. And I always encourage business thinking. People might say, oh, that's cold. No, that's efficient. When you'll never find a pursuit where everyone's on the same pursuit. I'll give you an example. Some people like to play basketball, some want to golf, some want to box. But this money game, that's a game everybody wants to play. And so winning at that one is critically important. And because you've had a higher number of players, you've had people test every which way how to do it. So business thinking and business logic is the best of thinking, the best of logic, the most efficient. And I apply that to all of my relationships, personal, familial, and romantic. And I appreciate you sharing that one. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And the challenge with a lot of folks, one, they're effeminate in their thinking, and the instinct, the base instinct of the females to include and to be egalitarian rather than hierarchical. And people who don't have value feel like they're scared to say, hey, this is what it is, because they're scared people are going to jump ship. When in reality, when people jump ship, it becomes a better ship. When we get the dirt balls out the way, it becomes a higher quality, better ship. And we were just boxing this weekend up in Toronto. Shout out to Assassin, Toronto, Assassin Canada. Shout out to the executive up there, Ramsey. Shout out to Jermaine. Shout out to the whole team. Wonderful event. But we were boxing, and one of the guys had asked me, he said, Marquett, what do you think is missing from my boxing? I said, it's mindset. You're not mean enough. You're not out there to beat somebody up. He says, well, how do I get that mindset? I said, one, you're going to have to train. You have to put it in your actual body and your mechanics, but also it's easy for me to go in there and beat somebody up because I really think that they should be beaten up. They should be beaten up by me. I think that I am better, I am superior, and that my knuckles should crush the bones in their face. I really feel like that. So when they hit me, I'm damn near offended. I'm damn near offended at the idea that they think that they can punch on me. I should be punching on them. And when you have that fundamental belief, it's going to drive you because it's identity. If you identify as an athlete, you're going to work out. You're not going to get fat. It does not jive with your self-view. Mindset is huge. And separating yourself, because who wants to be in a club that everybody can be a part of? And that's exactly what you're describing. That's why when you go to the club, some people can't get in, right?